guys, Aaliyah back again with another awesome game in development from my collection. Today we're going to be playing Dungeons of Edera. I'm totally loving this game. This is a roguelite dungeon crawler with Soulsea style combat and Diablo style loot progression. If you like the idea of a third-person action RPG with procedurally generated dungeons and loot in a fantasy world of sword and sorcery with a classless leveling system, you should probably be adding this to your wish list or buying it right now. The game is already great, the developers actively involved with regular updates, and the potential for greatness is totally here. I hope you enjoy my video, and thank you so much for watching.
Long has the continent of Edera been ruled by the Osweri Empire, keeping peace among the numerous factions of peoples who live within their boundaries, with fair leadership and representation. The peace did not last, however, as the line of emperors became corrupt with greed and power, and as they began to launch campaign after campaign to claim even more land and riches. Their demand on their subjects grew ever more until they reached a breaking point. A rebellion was born, as the factions of the North banded together to march into the heartland of the Empire to put a stop to it. The hard-fought rebellion was broken at the foot of Norak, the Empire's prized capital, but with the Osweris spread so thin, they were able to broker a truce. The Osweris granted them their independence in return for an end to the fighting. But as the years passed, and the factions' anger and pain against the Osweris were forgotten, old rivalries began to surface between the Arbenum state, the Sufrak clans, and the Wakara bands, breaking the trust between the factions of Edera. This does not go unnoticed by the Osweri Empire, whose ever-aggressive emperor looks upon the free lands of Edera with hungry eyes. You and your family lived a simple life within the Arbenum state as farmers, making a living bringing crops to market every year, nothing out of the ordinary happening until 2 years ago, with the arrival of a mysterious man who stumbled onto your farm, barely clinging to his life. He was injured and on the verge of death, and your parents, kind-hearted folk, tended to his wounds and allowed him to work on the farm while he slowly recovered. You came to know this man as Scovis, and grew quite fond of him as he taught you simple sword-fighting techniques and enchanted you with his tales of adventure all over the world. Scovis was always talking about the aggression of the Osweri Empire. But your parents did not want to hear it. Nothing could make them leave their home. Even when rumors of Sufrak raiding parties started, they believed that nothing would ever happen to their village and way of life. Unbeknownst to anyone, the Osweri Empire is on the march, looking to reclaim their ancient land. Your town just happens to be one of the first victims of a merciless Osweri campaign of revenge.
Kid. Hey, kid. Come on, kid. You've got to get up. You okay? We need to see if anyone is still alive, and what we can salvage. Take this. I took it from one of those Osweri dogs. The Osweri army invaded, kid. Done a fine job of making sure hardly anything was left. They're the huge empire to the south, who we ain't on friendly terms with. Nothing to it, kiddo. Either swing or thrust. Whatever feels natural to you. Sorry to ruin your interpretation of what is right and just, but this is what war really is. Either you defend yourself and kill those who want you dead, or join those you see laying on the ground. I'm sorry this happened, but we have to clear the town of Osweri soldiers, or we will be next. The Osweri army invaded, kid. Done a fine job of making sure hardly anything was left. They're the huge empire to the south, who we ain't on friendly terms with.
Oi, thanks. Glad you came along. Don't think I would have survived if you didn't. When I heard the town was under attack, I ran here to pack up all my merchandise, and a soldier on a mounted horse kicked me cart on top of me. My leg has been hurt bad, but I got myself some potions that will help. I'll give you one. It might help while you explore around here. No way! You wouldn't have anything to buy. Oh, I should be. Pretty sure if anything happens, you'll hear the gut-wrenching screams a mile away. Think you can handle the rest of the troops in town by yourself? Good luck.
I'm sorry, kid. We're too late. Come on and get a hold of yourself. I know you just lost your folks, but we need to regroup. There could be more of those Azwari dogs around. Able to pick yourself up and dust yourself off? I'm not sure what to tell you. Decide what you want to do quickly, and let's keep going. There will be time to mourn your parents after this ordeal has passed. Sure thing, kid. Let's get them from under this rubble, and we will bury them once we know the area is cleared.
Witness my power!
Tell you what, kid. How would you like to get revenge on these dogs? Good choice. As you know, I've got former military experience. I'm just not as young as I once was. But you kid are young and full of energy and hatred for the Osweri Empire. Just leave it to me. I will show you how to wage war.
I should have been there. I should have protected them.
I'm sorry, kid. We'll make those Osweri bastards pay for this, I promise you.
The survivors are gathering in a nearby hunting camp, not far from here. We should join them and discuss what we do now. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I've got some good news, some not so good news, and some bad news. What do you want to hear first, kid? We should have all we need to get things started again. Wood from the forest, water from the river, and food from both. You never been taught how to survive in the wild? We got a long way to go. How's your hunting skills?
Flesh from bone. Face your doom. Fall to my feet. Fall to my feet!